Hi, and welcome to Camille's Country Corner. I'm Camille, and on today's episode we are going to be making a roasted tomato basil soup, and on the side we will be serving some homemade sourdough grilled cheese sandwiches. Let me show you what you will need to get started. And before that, if you have not subscribed yet to the channel, please do that now. Hit that like button. Let's get started. For this recipe, you will of course need tomatoes. I have some fresh from my garden, along with the basil and some thyme that's also from the garden. Your variety of cheeses that you will want to make for your grilled cheese sandwich. I have some homemade sourdough sitting right there. We're going to need some onions, some garlic, and some chicken stock. Not shown are the olive oil and a couple of tablespoons of butter. Let's get started with this recipe. All right, let's get started cutting up these tomatoes. And what I forgot to show you is that you will also need some diced tomatoes or halved tomatoes. In the juice, you'll need 28 ounces. I forgot to mention that when I was showing you with the ingredients. All right, let's do the tomatoes first. I don't know why I was doing. So we're just gonna cut these tomatoes in half. Put them on the sheet. We need about 3 pounds of the tomatoes. The kind of tomatoes I'm using are Roma tomatoes. They're just a nice sturdy tomato that I like to grow, but you can use any tomato for this recipe. It'll work just fine. These tomatoes look fantastic, so nice and juicy. I'm excited about these. All right, once you get all the tomatoes cut up, we're just gonna toss them with about a quarter cup of olive oil and some salt and pepper, which I accidentally grabbed my Himalayan salt instead of my kosher salt. I'm just doing this on some parchment paper. You can do this directly on the cookie sheet. And I have my parchment paper going a little bit higher because I want to save all of the juices from this as well. And we're going to toss all these together. All right, guys, in this pot I have 2 tablespoons of olive oil and 2 tablespoons of butter. To this pot I am going to add my garlic and my onions. I have 1 whole onion and 6 cloves of garlic. The recipe actually called for 2 onions. I thought that was a little excessive, so I went with 1. Grabbing my ingredients. As you can see over here, all of the beautiful roasted tomatoes are ready to go. We will also need 4 cups of basil. You need fresh basil here. If you don't have fresh basil, please improvise and just use pesto. Probably about a half a jar. And then we have some fresh thyme. 1 teaspoon of thyme. I'm going to add this whole several sprigs of thyme. I have my tin of 28 ounce of tomatoes with the juice. I also have a quart of chicken stock. Bone broth. If you have not made your own bone broth, I have a recipe I will link below showing you how to make it. We just want to get a little color on here. I'm going to add a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. Layers of flavor. My chicken stock does not have any salt in it. We'll let this go another minute. I wish you guys could smell it in here. It smells amazing. All right. Now that that's cooked down a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and add my tin of tomatoes. Like I said, a 28-ounce can of tomatoes. I'm going to add all of our wonderful roasted tomatoes. You can leave everything whole here. It doesn't really matter because we're going to be putting it all through. I'm going to use a blender for everything because I don't have a food mill as it calls for. We will use what we have. And because I only half prepared, there's still some frozen in the container. But that was just some bone broth, some chicken bone broth. All right, now we are going to bring this up to a boil. And as soon as we bring this to a boil, we're going to turn it to a simmer. Let this go for, let me see, because I can't ever remember, another 40 minutes. So I will bring you back for the next step. We'll see you in a minute. Hey guys, before I forget, and this is coming up to a boil, we actually want to add all of our herbs. So I'm adding everything in here whole. I'm not cutting anything up. I'm doing this all one-handed. Look at me, I'm so talented. Oh my gosh, this smells amazing. Smells so good. All right, we're gonna cook this down 45 minutes. 40 minutes, sorry, 40 minutes. All right, now we are going to, now that everything is done, we're gonna blend everything up. Now, when you use a blender for hot liquids, you only fill it about halfway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the middle piece out. And then you just want to cover it with your towel because the heat expands. Let's take a look. Beautiful. Okay, and what I'm going to do from here, so you can see, is I'm going to strain into a bowl because we don't want any of that pulp to get in there. And this is why they tell you to use a food mill. I don't have one. So real life here, we use what we have. Okay, I am going to continue to blend and puree and strain, and I will bring you back as soon as everything is done. All right, we've got the grilled cheese cooking. I made the sourdough yesterday, so I could have it for today's video. I can leave a link below on how to make sourdough if you've already got your starter going. And I will have to make a video on how to make sourdough starter and how to make bread. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and finish cooking these up, and then I'll bring you back when everything is ready. The cheeses I'm using in here today, I've got 3 different kinds of cheeses. Well, actually 4, because my husband likes pepper jack. We have pepper jack, Munster, and Swiss. And on some we have provolone, Munster, and Swiss. All right, bring you back here in a minute. All right, friends, this is what it looks like when it's done. We've pureed all of the things out of it. I've added a little bit of Parmesan cheese just for some flavor. Let's get these plated up. All right, guys, this is the finished product. Look at the grilled cheese. That looks scrumptious. All right, guys, I'm about to eat my dinner, and I hope you all try this recipe and make it. It is so great. Deliciously creamy. I just added some basil, some cracked black pepper on top, and some some Parmesan cheese. You can also add red pepper flakes to this. I just don't like spicy, so that's the way I'm gonna eat mine, with the delicious sourdough grilled cheese, which I will link all of the recipes below so you have them today. And thank you for joining us. And again, if you haven't subscribed, hit subscribe. I make at-home meals all the time. Most of them are completely homemade, so it's worth it to put the extra effort in there. And sometimes it doesn't even take that long. All right, I'm so glad you stopped by here today. Let me know if you make this soup and how you thought about it. Have a good day.